Hello everyone, welcome to the first in a long line of videos I'm calling the Attack on Titan Rewind. This is my weekly series where I, along with you, go back and rewatch Attack on Titan and make a video on it as if the series had just started today. I'm super excited because every Thursday for the next 94 plus weeks, I will be covering episodes of Attack on Titan I have never once talked about here on the channel. However, there is a bit of a caveat with this one. I already tried to start this series last year in September, but due to the busy work schedule, I had to unfortunately drop it prematurely. So I decided to take that video down and re-upload it with this intro and a new outro to retroactively make this the first episode of the new series that technically already existed before. Since after all, there is no reason to make the exact same video twice, and it would be a horrible idea to start Attack on Titan Rewind with episode 2, wouldn't it? So now please enjoy the first episode of Attack on Titan Rewind. Recently, I've been rewatching Attack on Titan in my Discord server with viewers, and after watching episode 1, I sort of realized something I've always known, but could never articulate and put into words. Attack on Titan's first episode truly is a masterpiece. From how well it sets up the plot with the peering colossal titan that is one of the most morbid and horrifying aspects of the series imagery, the introduction to our main trio of Armin Arlert, Mikasa Ackerman, and Eren Yeager would be a mainstay fixture throughout the entirety of the series, and of course, the introduction of one of the craziest first episodes in anime that the final season would actually revisit one more time with one of the most insane twists in anime ever. But that's for a later video. This is why I think Attack on Titan's first episode is an unforgettable masterpiece. I'm a GamerSupps partner. Use code CTactics and get 10% off all orders site-wide. Recently, GamerSupps sent me over some Pixel Cup merch, including 2 shirts that are beyond comfy, by the way. And yes, real men wear pink. So treat yourself and pick up some GamerSupps or free samples using the link below. Thank you for your support, and thank you to GamerSupps. As a channel focused on analyzing characters and writing, it's only natural to start this video off here because, wow. In just one episode, Isayama was able to perfectly represent all 3 of our main characters with seemingly relative ease. Though let's be real, it probably wasn't easy. We first have our main character, of course, Eren Yeager. While just a young kid at this point in the story, it is our first introduction to what will be one of Attack on Titan's most beloved characters. But he wasn't always beloved. In this first episode, we get to know Eren's feisty temperament that earned him much of the community's disdain. Because remember, Eren wasn't always as beloved as he is now. But in this episode, he makes it very aware that he doesn't like that humanity is walled up and away from the outside world. He feels as if humanity is cattle for the Titans. And this was a great piece of writing that really nails down a visual in our heads of how humanity has been driven into the walls, cornered, but as well showing us that Eren wants only one thing, and that is freedom. Even from a young age, Eren Yeager was always searching for freedom from the Titans. A great scene that exemplifies this is when Mikasa tells on Eren to Carla and Grisha about his desire to join the Survey Corps. We know he looks up to them as the prior scene shows Eren ecstatic to see the arrival of the Survey Corps, who have come back from a, frankly, failed expedition to further humanity's interests. While others may have looked down on them, even seeing the Survey Corps as just a waste of taxes and that humanity's real focus should be protecting what's inside the walls, instead, Eren is peculiar in this sense that he wants the complete opposite of that. He wants humanity to leave the comfort of the walls to embrace the nightmarish world outside the 50-meter hardened walls. I also want to point out that this scene in particular has a really sad moment that's extremely memorable where Shaddix returns the hand of a mother's son who was killed in the expedition. The way she uncovers the hand and quickly tries to cover up the cloth in horror and disbelief that her baby boy is now dead is simply too much. What makes it worse is when she asks if her son died accomplishing something. Shaddix can only tell the truth and reveal to everyone watching that he and the Survey Corps accomplished paramount to nothing for their mission. This would be the catalyst for Erwin to take over as commander. Also, a great moment showing that the Survey Corps are quite frankly at their lowest. This makes Eren's plight much more interesting as it gives context to humanity at this point in the story. So, when Grisha, who we know is very knowledgeable on Titans as he is a Titan shifter at this time, tells Eren that it's a nightmare outside the walls. Eren, though, responds in a rather mature way. This is striking because throughout a majority of this episode, Eren comes off as a very annoying kid who dreams big and doesn't really understand the world. However, that's not the case. Eren knows that the outside world is tough. He knows it is a nightmare. However, to him, even at such a young age, he knows deep in his heart that if they don't expand, then the nightmare will never end. This is a huge moment that the viewer never really forgets, mainly because Eren from episode 1 all the way until the very last episode of this series never changes. His goal is and forever will be to eliminate all of the Titans. The reason that is so unforgettable is mainly due to the last scene of the first episode, which has become a legendary zeitgeist moment for not just AOT and anime, but for modern culture. Eren witnessing the death of his mother, Carla, is a scene with so many layers to it, and all of them done so well that you never stop to think about what those layers are, you just know them instinctually. So let me break down everything. As the pure Titans are let in from the hole the Barclophicus Titan made in the wall, we get our first visual of a Titan up close. The Titan that the fanbase would dub the Smiling Titan. This would be massively integral to the impact Attack on Titan had, showing Isayama's horror inspirations for the pure Titans. Simply put, this is a subtle body horror at its finest, and it doesn't matter who you ask, chances are everyone knows what the Smiling Titan is. Not only that, but what it would eventually end up doing. However, before it showed up, Eren and Mikasa ran back to their home to find that Carla, their mother, was pinned under the rubble. Desperately, they tried to lift the rubble to free Carla, but they couldn't. They were too weak to do so. This leads Carla begging them to run, telling her son and her adopted daughter that her legs are crushed. And with every breath she has, she tells them to run out of motherly instinct, and with every ounce of strength, her children fight to save her out of that very same instinct to protect their mother. It actually isn't until Hannes arrives, witnessing the Smiling Titan in all of its horrific glory, that he takes the two and runs. As Eren looks back, sees his mother snapped like a twig and then eaten. There is one detail with this that shatters the heart. Actually, two. Carla, before her death, covers her mouth and, in her last words, says, "Don't leave me." These cries were a reminder that Carla was a mother who cared selflessly for her children and gave up her own life to make sure Eren and Mikasa lived. She gave up her life and died valiantly, but even then, her truest desire was to be with them, to not be left behind, and continue to raise these children as her own. Not only that, but she lied to the two, as we see when she is lifted by the Smiling Titan. Her legs are untouched, and she even kicks them. She lied. She knew that she could walk and escape, but by the time they would be able to free her, it would be too late. This moment is the driving force for the entire plot of the series, and any reason for anything Eren does in this show can all be traced back to Carla being killed and Paradise being attacked. Without these two moments, Attack on Titan would literally be much to do about nothing. The show wouldn't exist. And that's a massive reason for why this episode is unforgettable. The execution was so well done, and the imagery so potent, and the moments so unbelievable and appalling that you, much like Eren, are traumatized by them. This brings us to the Protector, Mikasa Ackerman. Mikasa's character, much like Eren's, is perfectly implemented and executed, and we know immediately what Mikasa is all about. In many ways, this silent little girl says a lot without saying much at all. She clearly is love-struck, even at such a young age, by Eren, that she clings to him desperately as if she owes him her life. This is a nice juxtaposition and subversion of the two's relationship, because Mikasa is there to protect Eren, but really it's Mikasa who needs to be protected by Eren the most. On the outside looking in, it seems as if Mikasa is only the protector here and silent, stoic, and strong, but she's more than just what she seems to look and act like. Her reliance on Eren is so subtle, but gives you that hint of a longing her character has, that she wants to be by his side at all times. So when she beats up Armin's bullies, tugs on Eren to remind him not to get too wild, throws Eren with one arm, and tells on him, you know that this is all done to protect Eren from himself and his temperament. Mikasa is there to basically reel him back in. It's a very nice, harmonious relationship, but as well, you get the sense that Eren is too caught up in his anger issues to notice that Mikasa is always and will always be there to bail him out. So once again, there is this hint of tragedy with Mikasa to a degree where she is starved of the one thing that she wants the most, which is this sort of recognition by Eren. This dynamic gnaws at the viewer for really the entire series. It's always in the back of our heads, reminding us that Eren could have had a much happier life with her, but it was taken away. And even still, through thick, through thin, through it all, Mikasa is loyal. Not to a fault, but loyal nonetheless. However, all good things come in threes, and Armin is 1/3 of the trio that makes up this family. Much like Mikasa, you know immediately Armin's role. However, unlike Mikasa, Armin isn't strong or even engages in any sort of violence, really. When we first see him, he is getting beaten up by bullies, and while being beaten, he states that he doesn't need to resort to violence to get his message across. In fact, by then resorting to violence, he's already won. On top of that, you have this visual of a feminine look for Armin, showing how gentle his appearance is. Most people often at first even mistake him for a girl in the Japanese dub, as his VA is female too. So, it's very clear they wanted Armin to have that feminine tinge to his character, and I think it works really well. However, do not misunderstand Armin as being weak and cowardly. He may be physically weak, mind you, but Armin is much more man than even Eren or Erwin is in many cases. Just as an example, while his muscles lack, his heart and brilliant mind make up for those shortcomings. Before anyone else realizes it, Armin knows in his heart that this peace they're experiencing now is nothing but fleeting. And he is 100% right. Except, unlike Eren, Armin understands why the people of Paradis who live inside the walls would want to stay within them. It is protection from the nightmare ongoing. It is shelter from the storms that rage day and night. This comfort is what is comforting. And because of that, Armin can't blame people for wanting them to stay the same and stagnant. Though the reality is that they can't be too lucky. It may be hard to accept that reality, but it is a reality that everyone must accept, or reality will make them bend the knee and accept it. And this is precisely what happens, and Armin is proven right for one of the first times in this series, and trust me, it will not be the last. Either way, Armin Arlert is one fine character, and likely the most underrated of the trio. But I have a sneaking suspicion that's exactly what makes his character so memorable to begin with. He's the perennial underdog. But really, Attack on Titan's first episode is a masterpiece because it does something which few can ever achieve, which is perfectly encapsulate and bottle the essence of the series into one 24-minute chunk. The opening scene is a perfect example of showing the state humanity is in, driven inside the walls from the Titans like caged animals corralled inside. How free everything else is, except humans. This perfectly shows the viewer in just a couple of minutes why Attack on Titan is so dark, depressing, and horrifying. And it wouldn't be a video if we didn't mention that first scene with the Colossal Titan. You, immediately upon seeing it, get shivers down your spine and you are hooked. Because much like the people of the town and our main characters, we have never seen anything like this in our lives. There is nothing in existence before that could compare to seeing a 50-meter tall Titan peer over a 50-meter wall like it did. The design as well of the Colossal Titan is also horrifying in of itself, being a giant skinless humanoid with super hot steam rising from its muscle tissue as it bares its muscle, teeth, and cartilage for all to see. Then, the kick that sends debris flying and wiping out everything in its path, is an instance of its inhumane force. Everyone knew from the moment they saw the Colossal Titan in their hearts that this series would be incredible. And, well, it still is. Attack on Titan's first episode is an unforgettable masterpiece and will be that for a very long time to come. It's an episode that captures the hearts and the minds of established anime fans from the years before that saw anime as an underground kind of experience. It also changed that by capturing the attention of a newer generation, people young, old, and in between, to say, wow, I didn't know anime could do that. This episode is a seminal moment in modern culture and a watershed moment for anime's continued trajectory into the zeitgeist. It's already a certified classic, being 10 years since it first aired, and for that reason, and many more, I think Attack on Titan's first episode is an unforgettable masterpiece. Alright, thank you so much for watching our first episode of Attack on Titan Rewind. Friendly reminder that this series is supported through you. So if you want to see this series blow up, you know what to do. Let's get this first video to 200 likes. Share it with your friends, your family, and heck, wherever you can to let people know that C Tactics is back making regular Attack on Titan content. Thank you all so much for your love and support while we waited. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.